Hello, this is Darryl Webster from Modern Workplace Change. Today we're going to look at Microsoft Teams and holding conversations about documents. I want to show you a few tips about how to hold conversations and collaborate together. We'll also look at a bit of quirkiness, so let's get straight into it. To begin with, we have a team that is all about a design, and it's on a project team, and we're going to start a conversation about a document. We're in the design channel and we'll go into our files. And one way to start that conversation is to open up the document where we can start to edit it. I can review and see and read what's in the document, and I can use the Conversations button to open up the Conversations pane. And that's having a conversation alongside the document while it's open. If I just mention Nesta and say, can you help? And we'll send that message off. So benefit here is that I can have that conversation alongside the content. It's not necessarily replacing this other great feature where I might want to draw Nesta's attention to a specific item or a piece of text in the document. So I could just create a new comment and say, Nesta, can you word this more clearly? And there's a good feature there too within Word where I can assign that to Nesta as a task. So we'll just send that off. That's a conversation about content specifically in the document. We would use this conversation pane in Teams to hold general conversations about the document, maybe some logistics and things around that. So we've got that conversation started. Now let's have a look at what that looks like within the team and within posts. So we'll go back over to posts. We can see a brand new conversation there, and it's started with Nesta. Now the habit that I like to get into when I'm posting content within Microsoft Teams, when I'm starting a conversation, I want to be able to make it stand out. I don't want it to just be people's names and just random text. I want to make it easier to find. So one tip that you can go through is you can go through and edit that conversation. You can use the format button and just give this a subject, usability document draft. All right, so that makes it easier to see as we glance our way down the channel. How about if we go back into this document, so we can see the conversation in two ways. I've got my conversation pane that remains open. It remembers that previous state that I was in. So I can hold that conversation with Nesta. Let's go over to Nesta's experience of this now. And we'll take a look at the conversation where he's been called out in. There it is. And Nesta can open up that document as well. So there, Nesta can see he's been mentioned. He can start to have a conversation about that and say, let's like that and say, yes, I've received that. Thanks for including me, Megan. And so that's that conversation that's been held alongside the document. So this is a great feature. You can also see, great, there's something that's been assigned to me. I need to take a look at that as Nesta and improve on that text. Now, here's where the quirkiness kind of comes in. If I started a new conversation about this same document, I'm going to go back to Megan's experience of this. We'll go back to the channel. Let's say that it's a month on and we want to start holding a conversation about a document. So I'll start a new conversation and I will attach the document and browse through, which is incidentally another way to start a conversation about a document. We'll go to usability testing priorities and share a link. I'll just give it a quick ready for client, and then we'll say at Nesta, what do you think? Okay. So we have two separate conversation threads about this same document. What is the behavior now when I open up that document and work in it? Well, I'll go back to the original conversation and see what happens. So we'll open up the document there. And it looks like our second conversation thread has taken over. We don't see anything beforehand of Nesta saying, yes, I'm happy to edit and help you out, thanks for including me. It's actually the brand new conversation that might have happened months earlier. Now this makes sense in the sense that we are potentially going to have different kinds of conversations about the document. It could be that we've already got it past editing, or maybe we're referring another team member to say, here's a great example of something, and we don't need to attach them to the original thread. But it's a little bit sad that we lose the connection and the consistency of everything about the discussions about the document being kept together. So that's what's happened. We've got a separate thread. Now, what else can happen here? If we've got that conversation, we can maybe go through and assign a approval to it. So actually I'll go back in and take a look at it from the conversation. And using the more options, we'll set an approval, and we'll assign that to Nesta as well. And this is another good way to get a review going on a document, just to check before it's ready to go to clients. Let's put in Nesta's name, and we can also put in another team member as well, Isaiah. Some additional details. Please review. Use the comments feature in Word to add your feedback. Use the Teams conversation for logistics. Good-o. Send that off. And that's going to be an approval flow that can be used to ensure that all feedback is gathered from Isaiah and from Nesta before it is complete. So that now has been added to the conversation thread, just as it would be a response or reply. If we go back over now to Nesta's experience, we can jump in. Well, actually, you see that's still got that old conversation from beforehand. So if we were to open up conversation pane, it's almost like refreshing it, but now we're on to that second thread that we started months later, and so that's how we're separate, and I find it's a bit quirky. So we can, as Nesta, I can look at that. I can see that this is something that has been assigned to me. I can go through and check out the content. I can then approve and say, yep, it's got my tick. We'll just wait to see what Isaiah has to say before we actually release it to the client. So a couple of really good tips around being able to have conversations alongside documents. It is a good way to collaborate over and above using the comments feature within Office applications such as Word or PowerPoint. So do take a look at that and make use of it. Be aware of that quirkiness, that if you are starting a separate conversation and you're attaching the document again using a link to that document as well, that it will start a new conversation thread and it actually will take over from that previous conversation. If you're keen to hear more of this kind of conversation about Microsoft Teams, about productivity, the modern workplace, and using it effectively, then do subscribe to the channel. If you haven't already, hit that bell to get the notifications, and set it to all so that you'll get a notification as soon as I drop that episode. We'll see you again soon. Bye for now.